So you have your website, you change the message, or if you have that general message there, just get a squeeze page where you direct the people to that squeeze page where there is that message that resonates with them. The key, Chris, is you need to have a message that really speaks to the conversation that is taking place in the head of your prospect.
Hey everyone, Chris G here, Titan's Tail, and I'm excited today. I've got somebody here all the way from Wakanda. I just think he's in Congo, but I've never speak to somebody from the Congo, and he's been here in the United States since 1988. Please help me welcome an executive coach, a author, and the president of a chemical company, Mosongo Moukwa.
Mosongo Moukwa. That's all right.
Moukwa, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, right.
Moukwa, yes. Okay. No problem.
I tell Mosongo earlier that I love his voice. So excellent. Mosongo, please give us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah. First of all, Chris, thank you for having me on your show. So it's a great pleasure meeting you here via technology. Chris, my story is really a story of transformation and finding my true calling. I spent over almost 30 years now in senior leadership with the major brands in the manufacturing industry. Senior leadership in companies like SC Johnson, Poly One, Reichhold, Asian Paints, and so on, in a variety of materials. But my career really was punctuated with entrepreneurship, one venture, then back to corporate, then another venture, then back to corporate. And then eventually I decided that it was time for me to take a leap of faith and venture fully in the world of entrepreneurship. And the call really came when one of the companies I was working for was sold to private equity investors. That's when I just decided, let me go full time in entrepreneurship.
Sure.
Now, I must say, first, that my corporate career was extremely rewarding. It was filled with strategic decision making, operation, business development, R&D, mentoring of young leaders, driving innovation, nurturing a number of customers, most of whom actually were small business owners. But I felt a deep desire to create something on my own. So then when I left the company, I started a consulting company, helping others build organization, establish the right culture, the right infrastructure. That took me to India, then back to the US, then back to India, Belgium, and then with some partner, we decided to create this to found a chemical company.
Gotcha.
Now today, Chris, small business owners, they hire me to help them uncover additional revenue opportunities by multiple of six figures, freeing up their time and reignite their passion, allowing them to enhance not only financial outcomes, but prioritize time with loved ones. And that led to renewed energy and purpose. So that's what I'm doing right now. My methodology and strategy really built upon my capabilities, which I've developed over the years in corporate, but also as an entrepreneur.
Well, Mosongo, we're going to come back to those strategies because that's very important.
Yes.
And I think my readers would love to hear some of those. I wanted to hit on the fact that you went back and forth from corporate to entrepreneurship. Was that difficult to do? Did you have a hard time doing that?
Yeah, it was difficult because I always have that desire to run my own activity. And then once the opportunity came, you try it, you go through some frustration, and then you have the pressure, you have children in schools, you are not too sure how things are going to turn out. And then an opportunity comes back to corporate, you go back. But then going back, I still had that desire, I said, no, man, I mean, I don't want to put up with all those people here. I mean, I know I can do my own thing and so on. And then eventually, one of the company there got sold to private equity investors. I took my package and said, hey, this could actually something. Let me just turn the page and go fully into this here. So that's how it is.
Did you know when you made that final chapter, or it's not the final chapter, did you made that new chapter? Did you realize you wanted to be a consultant and coach, or did you know at the time?
No, I knew I wanted to coach. Actually, when I was in corporate, I was doing also coaching, in addition to my role. I was coaching mostly managers in various departments, whether they were in sales or R&D or manufacturing and so on. I was coaching them. I was coaching them for them. Those were short coaching activities, 3 months or so, for them to focus on a specific objective, trying to address whatever dilemma that they had. And during that time, also, when I was working corporate, I took a certificate with the International Coaching Federation as a coach. So apart from my ability to coach and mentor and get the people excited in many of the departments I was running, so I also took that training, so to speak, which only enhanced my capabilities. So that desire of coaching has always been there. In fact, as a leader in corporate organization, I became effective because I had the ability of engaging people, coaching them, trying to get the most out of them. So that was something that was always there. Now, when I left and I began to do consulting, that was really more in terms of let me start by doing consulting, trying to leverage some of my capabilities. And what I was my first venture was actually trying to solve operational issues in small companies. They may have productivity issues. I'll come there, short-term consulting. I'll help them out trying to improve productivity. So that's how it went. But to answer your question, coaching has always been there. I was doing it informally, and then I got the full training in terms of coaching.
Can you tell me a story about, it could be in your corporate or even your coaching now, where what the big problem that you had to solve, or something that somebody was really struggling with that might have been seemed easy to you, but was difficult for them, but they just couldn't see it. They're too close to it, I guess.
Yeah. Those days when I was coaching managers, we were starting with their dilemma. Well, what are some of the things that they're struggling with? Some of them, they were struggling in terms of improving sales or achieving certain objectives. So those were a short activity for 3 months. So we'll do that, and typically we'll set up some goals and strategies, and typically then would ask them to also have one objective that will be personal. So apart from those business goals, but for them to also have a personal goal. Professional goal for some of them could have been I am trying to lose weight, or I'm really trying to get back on being very effective in terms of managing my own diet and so on. So we will break those things down. So apart from developing strategies for them to achieve those business goals, we also ensure that they have one personal goal. So that's what I was doing back then, Chris.
Can you tell me a time that you realized the plan wasn't going to work and you had to make a pivot, or you had to do something to change
Yeah.
the
You're
outcome?
talking about during coaching, or you're talking about my own journey?
I would say either one. Let's say
Okay.
your own
Well,
journey. Yeah, either
yeah,
one or
yeah,
both. I
yeah,
love stories.
yeah. Yeah. Well, during my journey, Chris, for your listener there, I did not really have a mentor or a coach per se. Huh? So I
Mhm.
went back and forth. I review what I've learned from my corporate days, what I've learned while supporting business owners. So along the journey, I connected with people. I attended lectures. I took additional courses and trying to apply them in what I was doing. I even went back to what I learned in my MBA days to see what I could do that. But I also felt lonely. I felt lonely. I felt frustrated, particularly in the beginning, because at that time I have children. They were finishing high school, about to go to college. Then you begin to wonder, if this thing doesn't work out, how am I going to pay? and so on. So you feel a bit depressed and stressed. Huh? But when I look back, what I realize is that you need to build a strong foundation for your business, and it takes time to put in place that infrastructure. Then you scale up. So what you need is you need to have a product fit, your a market fit. So your product services really need to align with your target market, and then you need to find a solid way to generate leads, market your product or services, sell those leads, what you're doing, and then deliver, right? Deliver your product in a way that will retain them. So that is really crucial before anything else happens, before you start seeing money coming in, and there is this long period of gestation where nothing happens. So that's it. But if you don't have those key things in place, if you don't have a solid marketing channel or product market fit, or way to sell your product or services, you are always going to struggle. So then, when you are 6-figure and you want to go to 7 figures, that requires an entirely different operational structure, right? Because all of a sudden you need to deliver at scale, right? So you need to have that market channel that can deliver the kind of quantity that people will need. So in the beginning of my journey, I did not fully internalize those. Where to spend my energy, what alliance I should have. You read those things and you take classes, you attend seminars, but when you're really at it, you get lost. So now when I look back and say that it actually it makes sense why I struggle, But at the time I had no idea what would happen. It was like building a World Trade Center without an architect, without a plan. But I kept at it again and again, learning until everything seems to align and beginning to make sense. Your listener probably they will remember the movie The Lord of the Rings, and the protagonist there, a fellow called Frodo. So I would say that Frodo in The Lord of the Rings, I've reached Mount Doom. So I can get small business owners there because I've experienced what they're going through as a small business owner. So I will get them there. I'll get them to Mount Doom. So along the way, I've discovered strategies and developed a process that got me there, where actually I would like them to be. So I was once in the pain and in the pain where they are, and now I'm experiencing some of the pleasure that I would like them to experience. So I face psychological challenges and pain that they are probably facing right now, and so that's really what it is. Yeah, because for me, really, coaching is not about business, Chris. It's about empowering them to live the life they always envision. So that's really what my journey really has taught me along the way.
What kind of troubles do you deal with today on a personal, not personal necessarily, but could be, even your business? You work from home, I assume.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you have any struggles that you deal with? Troubles that you have to deal with every day, just like every other entrepreneur?
Actually, I'll talk about myself now, and I'll share also what I've learned helping small business owners.
All right.
So the biggest challenge for small business owner is what? They're looking for that financial independence. They're looking to leave a legacy for their children and spend time with loved ones. So, but the reality is that they are not achieving those. They keep working, and there are so many factors at play, and it happens to me also. And the stagnation, and they begin to stagnate, and that stagnation is only a symptom of something else. Generally, is some of the psychological challenges and some pains, which are multiple. Because you start with a dream of that time and financial independence. You don't want to work for anybody. You are dreaming of those extended vacation, seeing your kids anytime you want them to go and watch them play baseball. But for most business owners, this does not always come true. work hard, they work hard, they work hard, and eventually some of them even become one of the employees. Actually, they forget they are the one should be running the show, but now they are like in the business. So they feel stressed,
Mm-hmm.
and I've been able to come out of that. So what happens is that there is a fear of failure. That fear of failure starts begin to set in. Many small business owners, they are afraid of failing, and they become conservative. They don't want to take any risk because they have already put so much investment in time, money, and so on. And sometimes self-doubt starts to set in. So many small business owners, they struggle with that feeling, questioning sometimes if they actually truly deserve those achievements. So, and they don't want to take time off because they're afraid that this may harm their business. Hey, if I have to take this vacation time with the family, man, my business is going to crumble. I have all those people to call there. Or if they do, they're physically there, but mentally they are not there. So no quality time with family, which is actually a key component of their goal. They wanted that business because they wanted to leave a legacy for their children. And then the other one is the lack of clarity and focus. And as you and listener and your listener know, without clarity, focus, it's extremely difficult to achieve long-term goals. So because you have all those daily distractions of running the business, you can't focus on strategic growth and so on. So you are now become on this reactive mode. So, and this is really so, and what I've seen with some of my clients is particularly those who are in tight margin business, because you have that pressure on them, where should I invest, and so on. And then you have the isolation and lack of support. Let's face it, running a small business can be a lonely proposition. You feel
Mm-hmm.
isolated in struggle, and sometimes your spouse doesn't even know what you're going through. And then what does that lead to? That leads to emotional exhaustion and lack of motivation. So most of them they lack mentors and advisor. I did not have mentor and advisor when I started doing those ventures. You don't have those who can provide that support, and it makes it hard for them to navigate those challenges effectively because there is nobody there really they could put their shoulder onto. And then what happens is that then you have this loss of passion. So over time, that pressure is accumulating, and it can start to erode the initial passion and drive that led to start the business. People beginning to forget actually that their dream was to buy that house for their mother because they're so busy, they're so stressed out, working hard and hard and hard. They even forgot. So that motivation actually has disappeared. But what I find also is that initially it's painful, but then what happens is that people beginning to start getting used to living in that space, feeling comfortable, and with it, and justifying their situation without really addressing those challenges and so on. Now there is hope, however, and that's what I'm proposing here: a pathway to success. That if it's followed, it allows those people to achieve that personal fulfillment and financial success. But the first thing is for them to understand those psychological challenges. So that's what they need to understand that they are real. So what I do is that I make them aware that they have been settling actually for something they're not happy about. I bring that pain to the surface, and then we can start the healing process. So that's really what to do.
I think that's a pretty good segue into the strategies that you
Yeah.
mentioned earlier. What kind of strategies do you recommend?
Yeah. What I'm recommending is the following. I have actually the mission, that book that I wrote there was really which is pathway to profit. So there are
Mhm.
two fundamental elements, and there are a number of strategies. So the two elements that I find is number one, people and processes. Actually, yeah, that's the foundation of you developing something that is profitable. So it's like the foundation of your new home. I remember I said when I was working, I felt like building the World Trade Center without any foundation. While people and process, that's certainly the foundation there. So as far as the people are concerned, so employees, they are obviously critical to carry out your mission and implementing this pathway to profit. Then you need to have processes. Processes, these are the SOPs, your policies, all the documentation, and so on, because as you are looking at those strategies, you need to implement them. And then if you begin to put those procedures in place, then you're able to do them every day consistently. So people and processes. Then what I'm suggesting is a number of strategies. Lead generation strategy, high conversion rate, closing rate, retention of existing customers. How much should I charge? So that dollar per sale is important. Frequency of sales. And then obviously, we should never forget that cost, both the fixed cost and variable cost. So obviously, when I talk to some of the prospects or some of my clients in the beginning, those strategies then they appear very obvious. I mean, of course, these are obvious, but what is not obvious is their compounding effect. So it's not that you use only one strategy. What I'm advocating, Chris, for your listener out there, is that you need to improve on each one of those strategies at the same time, incremental. So if you take each one of them and you're beginning to improve them, let's say even by 10%, each one of them, then you're going to realize that at the end, actually, compared to where you were, all of a sudden your profitability is improved sometimes by 50%. So just take leads. You have leads, you multiply it with your conversion rate that give you there. Then now you multiply that number with your closing rate, so that also gives you something there. Then now you look at your total number of your customers. You look at how many of them you can retain, so that also gives you something there. And then you are not really done yet. And then you say, okay, how can I impact the average dollar per sale? That also gives you some other additional there, frequency of sales, and so on and so on. And once you remove now, you have your total revenue, and you remove now the fixed and variable costs, and you look at profitability, you say, oh my God, this is something here. So that revenue compounding, that's the one that I am stressing. Those strategies, at first glance, they look very simple, but really the message I give to people is that compounding effect, one acting on the other. So that's where really the small business unit owners need to spend their time. So that's really what it is, of course.
What comes first? And like the chicken or the egg, do you focus?
Well,
you said all three, but do you focus on your sales first so you can afford the people, or do you get the people?
What comes first is leads. You need leads. You need to have that traffic there.
Mm-hmm.
Then when those leads come, you need to convert them, but you need to focus on leads. And then so this is actually a great question. So let's just take leads, for example. If you look at leads, really, what we need to remember is that the key to a successful marketing is what? Is really to enter the conversation that is taking place in the head of your prospect. In other way, to be able to address the number one question that your prospect has in mind. So that's where you start thinking about the lead. So the conversation that is taking place in every prospect, it revolves around two things. One is the problem they cannot get rid of, and then two, the solution that they desperately need. So my research has led me to come up with the following framework, which I'm calling the conversion formula. So the way to think about it is this one. So there are four components there. One is you need to captivate the customer, meaning that you need to be able to state the problem of the customer. Number two, you need to fascinate them. So meaning that you need to make a promise of a solution. And then three, you need to educate them. So you need to provide them with evidence that your product or your services are actually superior to what else is out there. And then you need to close, which means that you need to provide a compelling proposition, a compelling offer to the prospect, to the prospect and not your client yet. That they will not refuse. Now, to illustrate that, if you look at many of the websites out there, you can pick many of them in a variety of industries, particularly those from small business owners. You could ask yourself the question: what is the offer there? So you'll find that the only thing they're telling you is a brief description, and then they say, call this number here, or here's a box, put your details here, and then we'll get back to you. But what I'm saying is that don't really focus on that traditional marketing. Instead, we should be focusing on the messaging. It's the messaging that's going to generate higher leads. So take an example. We had we worked with this doctor. She was involved in helping parents who are having difficulty with their children, with their child. So initially she was just getting 200 leads per month, and then I think, if I could remember, only 3 people consented for consultation, and then eventually three became patients. Now, what was their message? All she had, a website there and whatnot, number and so on. So not much was happening. Now, the messaging, we change it using this formulation: captivate, fascinate, educate, and close. We change that page through a squeezing page with a message that really resonating with our customers. And what has been the result? The result has been that rather than having 3 people there calling in, now she has 6 people calling in, and then many more now opt in. So she was able to generate 28,000 annual revenue just by changing the messaging.
And that's true, and I wholeheartedly agree. How did her messaging didn't send people to her website? How did she get people to the website to see the message?
Yeah. What we had there, we created not the landing page, but a squeeze page. So in that squeeze page, that's where the message was. That's where for education, that's where we also had a video and so on. So people will go there and actually get educated. So that's what that's what we did.
And all right. So how did? Well, my question is, how did you get people to the squeeze page? Was it through content on Facebook, or was it advertising? Was it word of mouth?
Not advertising, just on the same website.
Yeah.
What I'm advocating here is that I don't want people to spend additional dollars into advertising, because all of this will be done without you spending too much money. So you have your website, you change the message, or if you have that general message there, just get a squeeze page where you direct the people to that squeeze page where there is that message that resonates with them. The key, Chris, is you need to have a message that really speaks to the conversation that is taking place in the head of your prospect. Maybe another example can illustrate. This client we work with, she was a cosmetic surgeon. Her advertisement was you can get a body that's going to generate envy. She was doing Facebook perfectly, spending 6,000 per month, and then generating maybe 35 potential, but zero conversion. Zero conversion.
Yeah.
We said, no, let's change the ad. Rather than saying nurture the body that will provoke envy, what the young ladies, mother there are looking for, they want the body that they had before they had children. That resonated much, much better. And the result has been that rather than having zero conversion like she had, now she has 400 leads. And in her case, it was something like 65% opt-in, and the conversion was more than 10%. She brought in 125,000 that she brought in per month, just by changing that messaging. So I like sometimes to say it's not about marketing, but it's about messaging.
Messaging.
Yeah, you really need to resonate in the conversation that is really taking place because the buyer is actually going through a journey. Huh?
Mm-hmm.
They are going through information gathering before the purchase. Huh? And research has shown us that only 1 to 3% of buyers they're actually in the market to buy at any moment in time. So which means that you have 97% out there, they are in this buyer journey. So they are going around asking themselves, what is out there? Why should I buy? Why I shouldn't buy? Who should I buy it from? And so on. And once the message has been restructured, this captivate, fascinate, educate, and close, what we found is that the number of touch points that while they're going there actually been reduced. They're actually been reduced. In some cases, we have found almost by 80%. And so those interactions actually with those prospects are actually being reduced. So that's what it is. So people opt in. Now they come to you. So let's say like you have 60 opt in, like in your case, 2 became clients. So that means that so 6 became a client. So that means you have 54 there who did not come. But what do you do with those 64? Well, don't just let them disappear. You need to continue to nurture them, engaging them through a drip campaign. So this will be value add communication that you send directly to them, yeah, to keep them engaged and so on. Something that is of value to them. Don't just overwhelm them with some newsletters that really providing no value. And then if that works, you'll see that among those 54, maybe 2 now they opt in, they become clients. So you had 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. So those are things that could be done fairly without a minimal investment, actually.
Because eventually those 97%, somebody's going to be ready to buy at some point.
Exactly.
And as
But
long as you stay in front of them, top of mind, I guess they call it. Yeah.
Exactly. And with something that is providing a value, don't just overwhelm them. I mean, I get lots of newsletter here. Some of them I don't even read because I read once, then I said, there's really nothing of value to me here. So you need to find something that could provide them with some value. It could be some information, perhaps. So if it's a period where the interest rate has gone down, like the Fed most likely will be doing here, you can send an article to them. What is the impact of that could have, and what are the possibilities? That's something of value to them. They can read it, and normal people they'll be interested in that. So those are the types of things. Yeah.
Do you recommend team members to do some of that stuff for you?
Yes. You asking me or yeah?
I'm asking you, or I'm asking. Well, like she's a doctor. I'm sure that being on social media or whatever or sending out emails and so forth, either it's automated through a software or virtual assistant or something to that effect.
I understand your question, Chris. Sorry, I did not understand it before.
That's okay.
This is something that could be automated. A number of CRM systems there today, they could automate that. But you need to provide the content. So you need to provide the content in a timely. And if you're an organization, one good admin can actually be in charge of managing that. Hey, these types of topic you already sent before. Let's not send this. Or you have something you can tell. Oh, this is a topic. Maybe in 2 months we should send out, and so on. So those things they could be organized. They could be organized that way. But the one element I forgot to mention, Chris, maybe I should mention now for your listeners out there.
Go right ahead.
What is also important for you as a business owner is that you need to look at where are you spending your time. Are you working in the business or are you working on the business? So what I'm saying is that if you could devote 20% of your time really working on the business in a very consistent way, then that is really a predictable path to you achieving profitability. Because if we look at our time, we're involved in so many things. So as a business owner, try really to see where is my time is being spent. Let me dedicate 20% of my time working on the business, working on leads, working on conversion, working on sales, price per sales. Let me work on those, on my cost, and so on and so on. And then the rest of the activity there, I could delegate that. Other people, they can do that. But let me focus on working on the business. So that will be much, much more powerful, huh? Which
You
I
just
found.
you just teed up my next question. That was a perfect lead in. What kind of routines do you do every day to keep you engaged and keep you moving forward to improve your business?
Yeah, well, so I'm running the Adventure the Chemical, and I'm also running my coaching business. So what I've done is that I've dedicated 50% of my time on the chemical business, and then the other one on the coaching business. So if you just take the coaching business, then I try to spend 60% of my time on new business development activities. 60%. That's what I'm trying to do. How
Like
do I
podcast,
do that? I no?
like podcast interviews.
Yeah, well, there are a number of things. One of them is podcasts, just to help. Sometimes podcasts also help to generate traffic. I'm sharing my knowledge there,
Hmm.
so some people they may be interested, and so on. And it's also an opportunity to podcast to make connection as well. I also spend that time into seeing what kind of partnership that I could have with other people. Within that bucket, I also spend time for looking for speaking, giving presentation. Some of them are free. Others, is pay speaking engagement. But I like also free, just a service to the community, like through my chamber here. Sometimes I'll volunteer, go and give a talk on some of those subjects. Free of charge, just sharing the knowledge, getting some interaction there. Those are the things there, or using that time preparing webinar or meeting people. Meeting people like tomorrow, I have a meeting with the one banker here, just to see whether there is an opportunity for me to partner with him in the hope of helping him as he's trying to get those owners who are trying to sell their business, for them to be in a position where they have increased the value of their business. So this will be an opportunity for me to come, help them grow their revenue, put the right infrastructure for 1 year or so, and then when they're ready to sell, then the bank will be as a partner. They could help them negotiate the selling and so on, but to help them. So those are the types of activities that I do on that side.
How do you incorporate the family time?
Well, that one I made it as a point, and I must confess, in the beginning that was something I was really just delegated, because I had to put so much energy just to get those things here. What I've decided to do here is that every day I stop my work here at 5:30 p.m. I finish, close the computer, I'm done. So I made it as a rule. I'm an early bird, so I get up at 6 o'clock. I go, but 5:30 I stop. And then my weekend, Saturday, I don't do any related work. I take my wife, we go to the mall, or if there are some festival or activity, that's what I do. So I give that time to her entirely. Sunday morning, go to church, have lunch, sometimes with my children and a couple of grandchildren. We have lunch and so on till I'm relaxing. And then around 4 o'clock, now my mind now starts getting ready. I looked at what some of the appointments I might have on Monday and so on, just organize myself, and then I just take it easy. So that's a discipline that I'm putting in place. And if I have one advice for your listeners there, is that if they can look at their days and then to look at what are some of those important activities that they need to do, and if they could segment their times. For example, activity, go to the gym. If you're going to go to the gym, from let's say from 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, and I'm going to do that every day or every other day, and so on. So don't try now to do, oh, I'm going to go to the gym at 11 o'clock and 12 o'clock. No, you have to segment. You have to segment those times, and then from 10 to 11, I don't know, check your email if that's what you're planning to do around that time. Have the discipline to always do that within that period. If that time is up, you stop, you move to the next topic. So by doing like that, you'll see that over time, you're actually becoming more productive than this scattering type of activity. But the other key is that as you are transitioning from one item to another, for you to be fully prepared to take the next item, you need to clear your mind. I like saying you need to clear the space. So you have to declare that actually I'm done with this activity A, and mentally now I'm present and I'm moving to activity B. And it's working. It was an advice one coach gave me almost 15 years ago. And initially I had difficulty trying it out, but now it's become like almost a reflex. I know, hey, this is the time. Then I have my clock there. I have an alarm. The alarm will buzz.
You know what time it is.
Yeah, the temptation is always like, I've not quite finished. I should really finish it up and so on. But if you do it like that on a routine basis, you're actually more productive than just trying to cram through it and then at the expense of all the other activities.
When you do what Mosongo's talking about, it's probably going to take about 3 weeks of dedication. And if you get past the 3 weeks, it then becomes, like you said, the habit, the sustainable routine that you're kind of used to.
Yes. And they will find that they're actually more productive that way than this scattering. I have to cram this in today. Tomorrow I have to cram to this. No. Beg them like that, and you'll see you'll accomplish much more at the end of the week than cramming each activity on a given day.
What I find more difficult than that is to train other people that my time is, I'm doing this right now.
Yes.
My grandbabies don't quite understand the time factor, but
that is a challenge. Yeah, I mean, or you're trying to organize this, and then the wife has medical appointment, which some of them you don't have control over, and all of a sudden you find that that day has been somewhat disrupted. But you have to be aware of it so that the following day you get back. You get back. So those are these distraction or disruption which you don't always have control. That one, some people, they may have ailing mother living with them. She may need some medical attention to ensure she's taking her medication and so on. And then something happens up and you have to go to urgent care. I mean, those things you don't always plan. But at least you have to be aware that, hey, I need to really do my best to have this discipline, to segment my time and get the job done within those time allocated. Yes.
And we got these fancy phones with us. I use my alarm all the time, so you can set alarms, reminders, and obviously I have the calendar there, and you're just packing it around. Mosongo,
yes, please.
Thank you for your time today. It was very enjoyable.
This is really great, Chris, for giving me the opportunity. I will tell your listener out there, they could on my website I have ebook of those strategies. So Mosongo Moukwa.coach. If they go there, they could download it. It's free there. I put it out there for just to teach people and share what I have there. And then those who are small business owners, I'm actually looking to interview them for the second edition of my book. So I'd love to talk to them. The interview is really about their industry. I just want to get some feedback on what are some of those strategies. Actually, they could have an impact in their industry. I know it's working, but I'm trying to get more and more cases for me to really illustrate. And I'd love to do that. In which case, then just go to my website, mosongomoukwa.coach, and book a time there. I do mention that you had this through Chris's podcast. So Chris Gilman, if you mention that, then I would know. Just schedule some time. I'd love to share with you those strategies and interview you for the second edition of my book. And then if the interview goes very well, then through my proprietary platform here at no charge to you, I can actually apply those strategies into your specific business this time and show you what the opportunities are.
That's very generous. Let me spell Mosongo Moukwa for you. Mosongo. So Mosongo, and then Moukwa, Moukwa. And of course, if you're driving or walking, running, sleeping, I guess, if I put you to sleep, I hope we didn't, but you can always go to a titanstail.com, and in the directory of listeners, you can find Mosongo and other great guests right there, and all the information to contact him is readily available. So, Mosongo, thank you for your day.
Hey, Chris, thank you very much. It was a pleasure talking to you today.
All right. Have a good one.